Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today is Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yum. It's like a treat.
That's right, folks. Taco Tuesday. It's the day we enjoy all that is American in American cuisine. We love having a good time. And Taco Tuesday is just exemplary of it. You know, it is the celebration of all that is American. And I know some of you are thinking, tacos? American? Well, it is. And as I always explained before, it's something that started off somewhere else, came here, and we made it totally better. Because if you think about it, I mean, other than the people who what are now referred to as indigenous people, most peoples that live here didn't originate from here. They originated from everywhere else in the world, and that's what makes America so good. Is we bring a little something from every place else, and we make it better. And tacos is probably the best examples of that. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the whole taco thing. That's why we do Taco Tuesday, or at least that's the explanation we give. I mean, the reality is may just be because we like the song. I like the song, so I'm gonna keep playing it as long as I like it. By the way, this was not our first Taco Tuesday song. We had other songs that we were using, but this is the one that has stood out in our minds. This is the one that has really kind of solidified itself or its position in our hearts, or at least my heart anyway. So anyway, that's going to be it. We're going to go ahead and get into the program. Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't believe Mike's going to be joining us today. I do know that this is normally the day that he does his civic duty with Civil Air Patrol. I was not sure if he was going to be able to make it today, but I put out the bat signal or the mic signal, the Mr. P signal, whatever you want to call it. It's out there. It's available. If he is available to join us, he will be joining us. Otherwise, it's going to be us. And you know how it works, folks. I'm watching your comments right here. So if you got something interesting to say, you got something that you want to let us all in on, just say what's up. Let us know. I will be following us. Once again, that's only if you're watching live. So if you're watching live on YouTube, on Rumble, on Twitter, on... I'm trying to think, are there any other platforms? No, Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook, go ahead and comment. Go ahead and let us know what you think about what we're talking about, what you wish we were talking about. And, if we find it to be interesting, we will, we'll let the rest of the audience know about it. So anyway, just once again, encouraging. And by the way, also finally, if you have not already done so, please make sure like, share, subscribe. However you partake of the program, whether you're watching us live or listening to us live, or you're listening to us or watch us afterwards, right? Like, for example, this is also an audio podcast that you can get anywhere you get your podcast. In fact, our biggest audiences are both over at Spotify. Our biggest audiences are at Spotify and at Apple Podcasts. So if you're listening to us, go ahead, chime in, let folks know. Make sure you rate us, give us a good rating, please. I mean, if you listen regularly, I'm assuming you do so because you enjoy the program, but I don't want to assume, but I'm going to assume. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's start off the way we usually do, and that's by giving a quick shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start off with Hitman Industries. Hitman Industries has rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you at any length. You can find them at hitmanindustries.net. If you purchased an AR in the last few years, chances are you already have one of their barrels. So why not buy another one? Maybe you have an older rifle or older firearm that you want to rebarrel. Why not get one from them? Maybe you're looking to do a new build, brand new home build. Why not start with a barrel from Hitman Industries? By the way, if you are a first responder and you've never purchased from them before, you get a discount. So check them out today at hitmanindustries.net. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives at all level of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Folks, Ronald Reagan once referred to CRA as the conscience of the Republican Party. You want to learn more about them? Go to cragop.org. That's cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then we've got Hog Holsters, the best in concealed carry tactical holsters. Folks, all you got to do is go to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. Well, why is it spelled that way? Because it stands for Helping America Wear Guns. Folks, check them out today. If you go to their website, you find something you like, make sure you purchase it, and make sure you put in the discount code. The discount code is The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there, The Rundown. And you'll get a discount on us. So check them out today. That's hogholsters.com. Finally, the weather is a-changing, but I know you're still a-training. So you need to be getting whatever it is that you need for the changing weather, whether it's wet weather gear, whether it's cold weather gear. Maybe you need a jacket. Maybe you need a backpack. Maybe you need a hat or some eyes, maybe some gloves. Whatever it is, you can find all things tactical except the gun at uscombatgear.com. They have a huge selection. They have competitive prices, fast shipping, veteran-owned and operated. Check them out today at uscombatgear.com. All right, that's going to get us into... So there was an incident where a reporter over there at CNN was... What's the word I'm looking for? Well, they were doing... You know what? Let me just do this. So they're doing this report from a prison in Syria, right? And I want you to take a look at... Well, let me let you watch the segment first, and then we'll talk about it on the flip side.
Remarkable reporting for CNN's Clarissa Ward in Syria. This is incredible.
CNN's Clarissa Ward went to a Syrian prison to find someone still locked in a cell with no idea that Assad's regime had fallen.
A stunning discovery by CNN's Clarissa Ward.
Made a stunning discovery, a man locked away in a forgotten cell.
It's still not clear if there is something under the blanket.
It moved.
He was found.
A Syrian fact-checking group found that the prisoner here was actually a member of Bashar al-Assad's intelligence agency. So she just freed a terrible person and told us the story of how amazing it was to see him go. Now the question is, did they ever find him?
Okay, that video there came to you courtesy of the Washington Free Beacon, not the Washington Times, the Washington Free Beacon. But okay, first of all, for someone who supposedly had been in jail locked in there, by the way, for 3 months, he was amazingly well kept. I mean, clothes were completely clean. Beard was totally trimmed. No extra hair. No, I mean, I'm sorry. If I go 3 weeks without shaving, I've got a beard, right? He had was totally trimmed up and clean shaven. When he walked outside, right? If he hadn't seen sunlight in 3 months, how was he able to look directly into the sun, right? Well, once again, there, as reported, turns out that the Syrian prisoner highlighted in the CNN report is actually Assad intelligence agent linked to civilian killings, Syrian watchdog says. So, in other words, this means one of two things, folks. This means either this CNN reporter and all of the folks over there at CNN are in their, or is in her case, she says her 20 years of experience. She's never experienced anything like this. And guess what, lady? You still haven't experienced it because either you are lying or he is lying and you are stupid. I know. Yes, I use the S word. My granddaughter would get very mad at me for calling someone stupid. But I can't think of another word. I can't think of another thing that actually kind of fits this description. It is a miracle, the length to which they went. And here you go. Here's CNN International PR. Syria is free. Extraordinary moment as Clarissa Ward and her team witness a Syrian prisoner freed from a secret prison in Damascus. Left alone for days without food, water, or light, the man is unaware Bashir al-Assad's regime has fallen. Now, she says days. In the actual report, and it's about a 6-minute report over at CNN if you want to check it out, it says 3 months. Anyway, all that having been said, folks, this was just dumb. The fact that they fell for this, the fact that they believe this to be so, is beyond ridiculous. It is beyond... I can't even begin to tell you how idiotic this particularly is that they did, or that they thought that nobody could fact check this. Folks, I honestly believe that these people don't understand that there's this thing out there called the internet. And the internet gives you the ability to research information and find out stuff that is going on, find out if something is real or is not real almost instantaneously. And by the way, AI has made it even easier to be able to find the information to determine if this stuff is real or not. To be able to fact check and see who this guy is, to be able to watch the video and have people know exactly who he is not, I mean, it's not monumental. It's not like it's something that is impossible to know that can happen. And this is the reason, by the way, why CNN is failing so horribly. I mean, and by the way, not just CNN, but almost all of network news is failing miserably. MSNBC, CNN. You want to look at what's happening now over at whether it's the New York Times, or you want to look at what's happening at the Washington Post or the LA Times. The left-wing media has so gaslit the American people. People don't believe them anymore. They've just come to the point where they don't believe them anymore. And What's amazing to me is how obvious it is, how obvious it's been for so long that they have been gaslit, that they've been gaslighting people, and they're continuing to do so. I mean, there are tons of people out there. All you have to do is go on social media. They're all on Blue Sky now. But if you go on Blue Sky, you're going to see a bunch of people who joined a social media network for one reason, because they wanted to avoid the truth. All right. In their own words, they wanted to avoid disinformation or misinformation that was being put out there by conservatives. But it seems like when we look at the data and the information, the stuff that's all coming out, it seems like all of the information that is not factual, all of the information that is not the truth, seems to be coming from the left. That's who seems to be coming out with it. That's who seems to be putting it out. So in other words, if disinformation or misinformation is linked to conservatives, and conservatives are sharing the truth, then disinformation and misinformation must be the truth. Therefore, the left is actually seeking to hide from the truth. Now, I refer to these individuals as something very different. People like to say that they're ignorant. They just don't know. And there are a lot of people out there who are so busy with their day-to-day, they don't know. They really don't have the time to look into and research all of this stuff. But at a certain point, you have enough information, you have enough data points to know better, right? To know that you're not getting all of the facts, all of the information, all of the truth. I think this last election is one sign of that, in that if you believed what entertainment was telling you, what the mainstream media was telling you, if you believed what academia was telling you, then you believe that Donald Trump is the second coming of Adolf Hitler and the Republicans are the new Nazi party. Yet that doesn't seem to be what's happening. Or at least it doesn't seem to be what the majority of voters believe. Meaning they're like, yeah, no. We're not buying that one. We're not down for this, for being gaslit anymore. And they have opted to go another direction. Now, it's up to us, obviously the Republicans or those who are in the positions of power, to change that. I mean, to live up to that trust, right? To actually do as we said we were going to do, to govern as we said we were going to govern. But long story short, we got the opportunity. Let's take full advantage of it. Let's do it. Anyway, I just once again found it hilarious that that CNN once again has been caught once again. And it's, here's the thing, folks. if you're going to lie, be good at it. If you're going to lie, be good at it. They've gotten to the point, and they are so lazy. The left is so lazy. They've gotten to the point where they don't even try to be good at it anymore. This is not journalism, folks. This is not journalism anymore. This is propaganda. And that's all that they're pushing right now is they are attempting to push propaganda on us. And it's time that we just said no more. We're not down with it anymore. At least I don't get the sense that any of you are down with it anymore. I just know I'm tired of it. Anyway. Oh, all right. What we know about the what we know about the Wisconsin school shooting. Well, some information has come out, not a lot of information. We do know that the Wisconsin shooter was not a he. We do know that the Wisconsin shooter is a female. And by the way, this is important, largely in that active shooters are rare. When I say rarely, I mean rarely female. Most people involved in firearms violence, period. I'm not referring to suicides, but actually, I don't know the numbers on suicides when it comes to male versus female. But in terms of actual violence, it's rare that the perpetrator is a female, is a woman. But in this particular case, we do know it is a female. It is a 15-year-old girl. Her name is... Well, let me read a little bit from the story here. It says a suspect opened fire at the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin on Monday, killing 2 people and injuring 6 more before dying of what police believe to be self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's one of more than 320 shootings that have taken place on school grounds this year alone, according to the K-12 shooting database. Now, let's be clear. That database includes schools shootings that occurred at night, having nothing to do with school. So maybe someone was doing a drug deal or a gang fight or something like that, and it happened on school grounds away from school. This includes shootings near schools. This includes shootings that maybe occurred off school grounds, but maybe the bullet wound up on school grounds because the person missed. All of those things are included in this 320 schools that they're 320 quote unquote school shootings that they are referring to. So let's kind of note that. Anyway, it says while school shootings are widespread in the U.S. Anyway, this one is unusual because of the identity of the suspected predator. Authorities have identified her as a 15-year-old girl. Data shows female shooters at schools in general are relatively rare. An FBI review of active shooter incidents from 2000 to 2019 found that of the 345 total predators, 326 to 2019 were male, according to the Justice Department database. So this is a rare thing, right? This is something that just doesn't generally happen, and that's a big deal. Now, I know that the mayor there got really kind of upset when people kept asking about, what are the potential motivations? Who are the individuals who were shot? Because here's the deal. You also had the police chief say, well, it really doesn't matter what the motivation is. No, it does matter what the motivation is. It's very important to know what's going on here because you want to know what was the incident behind this. Because, if you're not looking at the motive, was it bullying, right? Was bullying the thing that happened? The motive operandi or the reason why this particular shooting happened. We don't know. We just flat out just do not know if that was the reason why. But if it was, it was bullying. Was it people ask, well, is this individual transgender, right? It may not be relevant. It may be relevant, but I do know that there's a narrative out there that there's been that there are a significant number of school shootings that are occurring that are the result of that are the cause of that where that might play a role in the issue. I don't know that it does or it doesn't, but it's important to know. And in the absence of information, in the absence of the why, people are going to ask. And as they ask, guess what? You need to be prepared, Mr. Police Chief. You need to be prepared, or at least be able to communicate that you're working on those answers. Anyway, I'm sure there's a lot more to be learned. Where did the individual get? Where did this young lady get the gun? Right now, I know that they're working closely with. I know the parents are cooperating. Obviously, most people are going to think that the first place a 15-year-old minor got the firearm was, from home. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that's the first thing that people are going to wonder or ask. They're going to wonder what kind of access the individual had to the firearms. All that fun stuff. Now, what we also know is we've got Mr. soon to be Mr. currently President Biden. Well, he's doing his thing and he's pushing for quote unquote for Congress to pass common sense gun safety laws after the Wisconsin shooting. Now, I want to be very clear. There were already gun laws in place that would have kept this individual, or that should have, or they claim would have kept this individual from going to a school campus with a firearm. Let's start with a minor in possession of a firearm, a minor carrying a firearm outside the. How about excuse me? How about carrying a gun on school grounds? There is still a federal prohibition. I do not know if there is a state prohibition to have a firearm on school grounds in Wisconsin, but I do know that there is a federal prohibition unless you have a concealed carry permit. She's 15, so I doubt she has a concealed carry permit. Then there's that whole thing of assault with a deadly weapon. There is murder, attempted murder. All of these are crimes. All of these are crimes that are in place, and not one of them kept this individual from going to the campus and attempting to kill as many people as she could. My question is, what common sense gun laws? If you're listening and you're in agreement with the president and you believe that we should introduce common sense gun laws in order to keep this from happening, what gun laws would you propose? Aside from banning all firearms, and I'm not even sure that would have worked because we don't know how this individual got the gun. We don't know if they bought it off the black market. Black market won't disappear if you ban all guns. Anyway, one has to wonder, though, what are the things that would happen? What would have made a difference here? I can't really think of anything offhand, to be quite honest with you. There's not a single thing I can think of offhand that would have made a difference. But then that's not different from every other case. That's not different from every other time we've seen this sort of stuff happening. It is a function. It's not a function of guns. It's an issue that we have a generation that thinks the way in which to resolve conflict, the way in which to feel better about one's, even if it's just an internal conflict, the way in which to feel better is to violently act out. And in this case, this individual, this young lady, this female, decided to act out by shooting her at her teachers, shooting at her classmates, and that is sad. And we need to know what's going on, because whatever is going on, if we really want to address issues like this, if we want to address the proliferation of these sorts of incidents, then we need to look at the root causes. And guns are not the root cause, any more than access to cars is the root cause for drunk driving accidents, right? Any more than that, it's not the cause. It is the tool, and you can say what you want about the tool, but addressing or attempting to address the tool does not fix or solve the problem. And the problem is a violence problem, and we've got to figure out once again how to address that issue. We're moving on to our next story here, and this one you will find. In today's story is an example of that, and I'll tell you a little bit about my own personal experience with the green fiasco. And this has to do with our U.S. Post Office. All right, if you look here, it says the green fiasco. Postal Service's EV mail truck rollout is massively behind schedule. The U.S. Postal Service's multi-billion-dollar program to purchase electric mail delivery trucks is severely delayed. Another bungled EV program to further tarnish Joe Biden's presidency. The Washington Post reports that the U.S. Postal Service's ambitious plan to modernize its aging delivery fleet with electric vehicles is significantly behind schedule. the $10 billion project, which received $3 billion in funding from the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, is a crucial part of outgoing President Joe Biden's climate change agenda. According to internal company records and interviews with individuals familiar with the project, the Postal Service has received only 93 of the next generation vehicles from contractor Oshkosh as of November. This falls short of the 3,000 trucks that were expected by this point in the rollout. So in other words, we're not talking 3,000 total. They were supposed to have 3,000 by this point. And here's the problem. The thing that they're not talking to you about this, and they're talking about manufacturing difficulties. Let me see. Calibrating vehicles, airbags, water leaks during testing. So part of the problem is that these vehicles are, when the ones they are producing are failing miserably. Some of the issues that they're dealing with right here, they're talking about issues include problems with calibrating the vehicle's airbags, water leaks during testing, stuff like that. We have found, and I'll tell you, my experience has been largely with the electric school buses. Now, the idea of them was great, and the state of California and the feds came out with this program where they would reimburse you if you purchased an electric school bus. The thing is you also had to, once you purchased it, you had to commit to destroy or get rid of. You couldn't sell it, but you had to get rid of a gas-powered or diesel-powered bus that you have. So in other words, the idea was to replace it. Now, at first, it was real attractive because these things are all modern looking. They look really cool. They have air conditioning, which if you're in a place like Sacramento is a big deal because most school buses, believe it or not, don't have air conditioning. I know, big surprise. But, I grew up in the Bay Area, and most of the school year, we didn't need air conditioning because it wasn't that hot. And then summertime is summertime, so who was using school buses? Anyway, all that having been said, they were really cool. So we ordered 5. To date, we have, and by the way, this was a couple of years ago, we ordered 5 school buses. To date, we have 3. We have one of our electric school buses on the road at any given time. And once you put kids in the bus, and you also have to look at, number one, what the range is when there's no kids on the bus. And then you look at what the range is once you put kids on the bus. Because once again, once you add weight, it takes more energy or more electricity to move that weight around. All of a sudden, the mileage goes down. If you start having to pull anything or go up hills, oh my. Anyway, we just at the California School Boards Association, we just had a big meeting on electric. We just had a big discussion on electric school buses, and it's all bad. It is all bad, and here's the reason why, folks. When the federal government decided that they were going to put money into this, in other words, their whole goal behind this is they want to promote the technology. Well, they put the money into promoting technology that's not fleshed out yet. It clearly has not been fully fleshed out. They're not ready for prime time. But what's happened is that you've gotten to the point where they should still be in research and development, where they should still be perfecting their product, and you've gotten to the point where now you've got them actually manufacturing them and producing them. And who's falling victim? It ain't the government that's falling victim. It's the people who the government serves, and that's you and I. We're the ones that are falling victim. Our kids are falling victim. People who are waiting on their mail, they're the ones that are falling victim. The taxpayer is falling victim as a result of these as a result of these failures. I cannot even begin to tell you. Once again, if you've never read it, Thomas Sowell's Basic Economics. One of the things that he will talk about, and he talks about over and over throughout his books, is when the government gets into the area of manipulating markets, right? Picking winners and losers. They almost always, and I feel very confident in saying, almost always pick the losers. In fact, they create the losers. They create the losers because by picking them as a winner, they remove competition. Right? They remove competition. Take, for example, and you want to talk about the electric vehicle? Let's make it a little bit more general. You talk about what they're dealing with right now with just electric cars. Now, I got nothing against electric cars. I mean, there happen to be some very cool ones out there. I love I love Teslas. But guess what? They don't like Teslas. Joe Biden doesn't like Teslas. He doesn't like Tesla because, well, they're a non-union company. They're no longer going to be based in California. They're no longer based in California. They're actually looking at moving their manufacturing out of California. They can't even manufacture their batteries in the state of California because, well, they can't meet the environmental standards to be able to do so. Once again, and then when you had the president, when you had him do his big EV summit, you notice who was the only car company that wasn't there, the one that is leading the industry when it comes to the sale of electric vehicles, and that's Tesla. All because they're not the ones that the Biden administration wants to be the winners. They want them to be the losers. Anyway, folks, this is going to be an interesting one. And once again, these are your tax dollars at work. Whether it's the federal school buses, whether it's the state school electric bus programs, or whether it's the EV programs that are giving people tax breaks for purchasing electric vehicles for their personal use. Like I said, I got nothing against it. I do believe we need to be looking into new technology, but I believe that the market ought to determine it. Let the market determine it. If you create a product that people want, they'll buy it. You don't have to provide incentives for them. Whole complete control of DC. They have all three branches of government. When I say Republicans, the majority of Supreme Court justices have been appointed by Republicans. So meaning that they're more than likely originalists, or at the very least they're center right. Anyway, according to new data, Fox News dominates the 2024 viewership, topping CNN and MSNBC combined during unprecedented year of news. It says here, Fox News Channel obliterated competitors in 2024, finishing the year with its highest share on the cable news audience since 2015. The year featured an unprecedented news cycle that saw President Biden perform so poorly during an infamous presidential debate that he ultimately withdrew from the race. Vice President Kamala Harris emerged as the Democratic nominee without a primary, and President-elect Donald Trump survived a pair of assassination attempts. All of that occurred ahead of November's election. Ended with Trump's decisive victory over Harris. The election-related chaos happened as wars in the Middle East and Ukraine continued. College campuses erupted with anti-Israel protests, and everyone from Hunter Biden to Taylor Swift seemed to dominate the news cycles. So there was a lot to talk about, but the problem was on a lot of those things. Clearly, the left was, once again, as I said before. And when I say the media, when I say the left, I include the mainstream media. I am including those who are part of the legacy media. They were gaslighting people. They were acting as if it was no big deal. Like none of this ever happened. And they were pointing out things that people could see, right? When they were reporting on the economy, they were saying, well, the economy is actually doing great. At the same time that people were going to the grocery store and they were paying almost double what they were paying for the same exact thing just a few years ago. People were paying more at the pump. They were seeing these things. They were talking about, well, crime is under control and there is no real issue with crime. As people go into the grocery stores and into their drugstores and things are locked up because people are just walking off with it, right? There were news reports on local news, at least, where you had people just walking in and walking out of stores with stuff. You had people in the mainstream media or the legacy media reporting that there was nothing going on at the border. There were no problems at the border. The border is secure, was what Mayorkas kept saying and what they kept playing. And guess what we found out? We knew that it wasn't true. Well, people, once they realized that it wasn't true, and I think part of, okay, that one right there, that was kind of funny. I'm going to play it one more time. I didn't realize what video it was. So For those of you who are listening, this is a video it's a video where the guy is sitting there at a chair. And he's like, he wanted to see what his dog would do. He set out a plate of food. He wanted to see what his dog would do if there were intruders. And needless to say, his dog did not respond the way you would want your dog to respond. So there he goes. People come in with guns and start pistol whipping him, and the dog goes back and starts eating food. Yeah, it did not. That did not go well. That test did not go well at all. Anyway, then we've got now this next one. You'll love this next one. You might recall that
their CEO. That's like if somebody killed my mom and I offered you half a penny to find the killer. Half a penny. Can somebody help find the killer of my mom? I'll give you a bite of my sandwich.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And it was true. I'll give you a bite of my sandwich. Oh, anyway. Well, hey, with these last two we've got here, these both come to us from the Babylon Bee. Fake news that you can count on. I love them. Once again, if you do not subscribe to the Babylon Bee, if for no other reason than they are hilarious and you want to make sure that they're able to keep giving us these funny headlines and funny stories, you definitely got to make sure that you subscribe over there. It's not expensive. I consider it a donation. Like I said, I rarely read the articles, but I do watch the videos because they're hilarious, and I do read the headlines. It says Biden calls for new gun control. He can pardon his son for breaking. Now, at first I was like, well, didn't he already give him a blanket pardon? Well, it only matters. Any crime he's broken since the time he got pardoned and now, he's still accountable for. So, you never know. You never know. So, he's trying to make sure he covers all of his bases because Lord knows what Hunter could be guilty of these days. And then next one, then I didn't really think about this, but there's a reason why the Hollywood left has fought so hard to keep Donald Trump out of the White House. And this is as good a reason as any. Once again, coming to you from the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can count on. Hollywood celebrities terrified that if Trump reports illegal immigrants, they may have to deports illegal immigrants, they may have to start watching their own kids. Ooh, ouch. Ouch. Reality hurts. Truth hurts. Truth hurts. And that's a real truth bomb right there. Funny stuff. All right, folks. Well, hey, that's going to be it for today's program. We very much appreciate you tuning in. Oh, wait, before we go, got to give that last shout out to our sponsors. We're going to start with Hitman Industries, rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you to purchase today at hitmanindustries.net. You got the California Republican Assembly, the conscience of the Republican Party. Check them out at cragop.org. And then you've got Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code, The Rundown, and get your Hog Holster on discount today. And then finally, you can find all things except the gun at uscombatgear.com. All right, folks, that's going to be it. Once again, we will be back tomorrow on tomorrow's not Throat Punch session. I'm skipping days. Wow. We will be back tomorrow on Wednesday, or better known as Hump Day. Till then, y'all have fun. Y'all stay safe. And if you get a chance, maybe send a few downrange. Anyway, we'll holler at you tomorrow.